Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about one of the hardest questions people face after a breakup. Do you really want them back, or do you just miss them? It's a question that can keep you stuck in circles, replaying old memories and doubting your decisions. In this video, we'll unpack why missing someone doesn't always mean the relationship was right, how your mind tricks you into romanticizing the past, and how to tell the difference between longing and true love. By the end, you'll have a clearer perspective, not just on whether you should go back, but on what your heart is really asking for. There's a moment after every breakup when silence gets loud. You're sitting there scrolling, maybe drinking your coffee, and suddenly their face comes back into your mind. Their laugh, their presence, the rhythm you built together, and you think, I miss them. Your chest tightens, your eyes get heavy, and the thought sneaks in, maybe I should reach out. Maybe I made a mistake. But here's the truth. Missing is a feeling. Reconnecting is a decision. And those two things are not the same. Your brain is wired to hold on to the highlights. It replays the nights you stayed up talking, the way they looked at you when you felt beautiful, the little rituals you created together. But notice this. Your brain doesn't bring back the arguments as often. It doesn't replay the loneliness you felt even when they're next to you. It edits the movie, cutting out the scenes that hurt, and keeps playing the best moments on repeat. That's normal, but it's also dangerous because when you're in silence, your mind fills in the gaps with the fantasy version of what was. Missing someone doesn't mean the relationship was right. It means you're human and attachment lingers. It means you built a bond and bonds don't dissolve overnight. It means there's still a part of your nervous system looking for what's familiar, even if familiar wasn't safe. And this is where you need to pause. Not to judge yourself, not to shame yourself for missing them, but to ask the right questions. Do you feel safe with them? Did your needs matter in that space? Were you growing, or were you shrinking just to fit? Too many people confuse longing with loving, but longing isn't love. Longing is a mix of memory, habit, and the fantasy of what you wished it could have been. Often, you're not longing for them, you're longing for the version of them you built in your imagination. The version you kept holding on to when you wished it would show up, but never did. And that's why going back rarely brings peace. Because you're not going back to the fantasy version your mind is replaying. You're going back to the reality. The same patterns, the same fights, the same absence, just in presence. The same cycle that left you questioning your worth. So what do you do with that missing? You sit with it. You let it wash over you without rushing to silence it with a text or a call. You write it down. You tell yourself, I miss them, but that doesn't mean they're right for me. You remind yourself that missing is not weakness. Missing means you cared, you invested, you hoped. That's not something to be ashamed of. But caring doesn't mean you should return to where your peace had to beg to exist. You want connection? Build it first with yourself. You want safety? Create it in spaces where you're valued. You want love? Don't trade the possibility of healthy love for the comfort of familiar pain. It's tempting to believe that going back will fill the emptiness, but emptiness isn't a sign that they are your missing piece. It's a sign that you need to fill yourself again, with time, with healing, with truth. So the next time you catch yourself missing them, breathe. Say to yourself, this is a feeling, not a decision. And remember that a peace is not found in replaying old wounds, but in walking forward into spaces where love doesn't need to be begged for, where your heart isn't surviving, it's thriving. Missing them is natural. Wanting them back is a choice. And sometimes the most loving choice you can make is choosing yourself.